What's up, guys? Before we get into this video, I just want to say thank you for all the support on the channel recently. If you wouldn't mind liking this video and subscribing to the channel, there's a lot more to come and I'm super excited. As you know, Chapter 23 of The Mandalorian was called The Spies, and yes, that is plural, so while we see Elia Kane talking to Moff Gideon as an obvious spy, it's obviously implied that somebody else is a spy in the show, and everybody seems to think that it's the Armorer. And while I don't necessarily disagree, I feel like there's definitely some evidence that supports both sides, and there may be some other players in the show that could possibly be the spy. So we're going to take a look at the evidence for the Armorer and against the Armorer, and maybe some possibilities of who else it could be. Now, ever since Season 1, the Armorer has been one of the most cryptic and mysterious characters of the entire show. I mean, she's called the Armorer, we don't even know her name yet. And there's been a big theory amongst the fandom since Season 1 that she is actually Looke, who is a former member of Death Watch under Maul's rule. She was a pretty big player within that group, and it makes sense why she wouldn't want anyone to show their face and know her identity, because she's basically a war criminal. And the horns on her helmet are a pretty key indication that she may still be in leagues with Death Watch or the ties to Death Watch, as we really only see Death Watch and Moff Gideon have horns on their Mandalorian helmets. Now, the next piece of evidence is kind of a two-way street. She's the only member of the Mandalorian covert in Season 1 that survives when the Empire attacks, and to me, this is a little suspicious. I mean, there's all these elite warriors of the Mandalorians that get killed, but she is the one that survives. And there's also kind of two leagues of the Empire going on at that time with Moff Gideon and the Client's sides of the Imperial Remnant. So maybe those weren't necessarily Moff Gideon's stormtroopers that she kicked their ass. It could definitely be the reason why, she was the only survivor. My last piece of evidence that goes against the Armorer being the spy is the fact that she had such a quick change of heart when it came to Bo-Katan leading the Mandalorians again, and her taking her helmet off and them wanting to retake Mandalore. It does seem pretty convenient that all the Mandalorians gathered into one place where Moff Gideon happened to be hiding, and the Armorer is a huge reason for all that happening. She is also the one from the main group that escapes the surface of Mandalore to save the survivors, and I mean, that's just pretty sus all in itself. She basically left the entire group to be killed by the Empire. There is also this other scene in episode 5 of this season where she's seen basically stabbing people in the back, which could be some seriously strong foreshadowing if this were all to be true. Alright, so now that we have dragged the Armorer's name through the mud and shown every reason why she is the spy, I think there's some pretty compelling reasons as to why she might not be, and this might be kind of a misdirection by the whole story. She has been so instrumental in Din and Grogu's story and their development as Mandalorians, and I think it would just not really make sense for her to be the spy in a way. She has spent so much time trying to protect and build her covert that it just seems really odd that she would be working with the Empire at this point. Even if she was Looke, I feel like maybe that's just a little too far off from what the character has done in the past. She's been a protagonist since day one of the show, and I just don't know that it would make a lot of sense for her to be in leagues with the Empire. Maybe that's just me being hopeful, but I don't know. I don't know if that would really make sense if she does end up being in leagues with Moff Gideon. So if it's not the Armorer, who could it possibly be? Maybe it's Axe Woves and Koska Reeves. They seem kind of sus throughout the whole process of Bo-Katan coming back, but I'm not sure. They seem pretty loyal to Mandalore as well. Maybe it's somebody else that we haven't considered. Is it Jack Black? Is it Lizzo? Is it one of these crazy looking Mandalorians with the crappy armor? I don't know. It seems to me like it could be anybody at this point, and I am so excited to find out in the finale where all this goes and what all this means to Din and Grogu and Bo-Katan, and I guess we will find out. I appreciate you guys watching, and I would love to know who you think the spy is. We will find out next week in the finale, hopefully, and I'm sure it will be epic. Thanks for watching, and may the Force be with you.